Say welcome back to the YouTube channel. Say welcome back. Whoa! Oh, now that's some kind of welcome back to the channel. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, today is definitely going to be a progress over perfection kind of day. From that intro and also from the fact that it's 3:20 on a Thursday and I've only just started filming this video. Prep has definitely stepped up a gear this week. Oh gosh, and my skin is showing it. Can you see how badly I'm breaking out? Like, hello, what is this? I don't know if it's hormonal, and I definitely don't know if it's due to the heat in Dubai because it's like 50 degrees outside. 50 degrees in which I'm about to walk to the gym for my hardest leg day of the week. So I'm taking you through all the prep feels today. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my intro. I'm gonna go make my, oh, you can't see me, 1 second. I'm gonna make my intro. I'm gonna get my ass to the gym and I'm gonna not think, just do. Go and train, take you through my training session, and then I'm gonna tell you the suffering that I've been going through this week. Honestly guys, this heat is absolutely ridiculous. The best way that I can explain it is it feels like someone is pointing a giant hairdryer on the hottest setting at your face. Like, it is just so warm and I am literally sweating buckets from all different crevices already before I've even got to the gym for leg day. And it will take a while for me to even feel that AC kick in when I get there. What a session. That was actually a really good session. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. The one thing that has been going well is my training. So with this session, I'll talk you guys through it. Started off with the machine hip abduction. I think it was around 3 sets, 15 to 20 reps, so quite a high rep on the machine hip abduction. Nice and simple movement to get us started and to get us into the groove. I would say to get us warmed up, but as you can tell, I was already really freaking hot. I don't know whether it's the fact that Dubai has got really hot all of a sudden, or whether the fact that my gym has their AC, which is just not operating at the temperature that it needs to be, but that gym is disgustingly hot and it feels even more hot when I train in the afternoon than when I do my cardio first thing in the morning. So I think it has to be like a daytime heat thing. Anyway, after that I moved on to the prone hamstring curl. Just a couple of sets on here, 8 to 12 reps, because that's meant to prime me for going into the glute drive, or doing like my main sets on the glute drive. It seemed like every person and their nan was on the glute drive today. So like I'd waited and I was just like, do you know what, it's not worth it. I'm just gonna move on to my next movement, which is a squat of my choice. So I have recently had our gym get the pendulum squat in. Pendulum squat is one of like my favorite squat variations. It is really challenging, it's very, very difficult, but it's equally as fun and quite torturous on your quads. So I did a couple of sets on the pendulum. I can't remember the rep range now, I haven't got my program to hand. So that felt good. I've only done that for the last few sessions, so I think my central nervous system is just about kind of firing properly when it comes to that movement pattern. But it felt good, and it definitely is a quad burner. I am far more glute dominant, as in like I feel my glutes working a hell of a lot more of the time than my quads. So any kind of like quad biased exercise that I can do, I really do enjoy doing. And then I went back to move on to the glute drive, but guess what? The glute drive still was taken. So I moved on to doing the single leg press. This is a killer cluster set. To those of you who don't know what a cluster set is, it's like lots of sets in one, with short rest periods in between. So on this single leg press, I did 5 reps, rest for 10 seconds, 5 reps, rest for 10 seconds, and I did that for a total of 25 reps. You would think that it's not that bad because you rest for 10 seconds in between, but because you're also choosing a weight that is challenging enough, it means that the final like 2 sets of 5, like the final 10 reps are disgusting, and I definitely failed at like the perfect point because I couldn't get my final rep out of that 25. So I actually got 24 out of 25, which goes to show that I chose the right weight. So I was quite happy with that. At this point, because everyone still was trying to build their booty on this beautiful Thursday afternoon, I just decided to go and do the hip extension, 45-degree hip extension, and next training session, I'll swap out my 45-degree hip extension for the glute drive. It do be like that sometimes, even for all of us coaches. We don't want to wait around all the time for all the equipment that we should be using. So I did equal amount of sets and reps on the 45-degree hip extension, which is equally a glute burner. And then just for fun, because Soph, my coach, absolutely adores me, we finished it off with 3 lengths of walking lunges, but by which point I was absolutely finished, but it felt really, really good. I'm in this phase at the moment where training is still feeling good, like dominant fatigue is starting to creep in a little bit because I probably should have a deload week soon, but I don't need a deload week just yet, so I'm hitting these PBs, and my food has only recently been changed, which means that I still haven't like had the effect of that deficit kick in, but oh boy, there's gonna be some pain kicking in soon. So I'll talk you through those changes and also just about how weird this prep has been. I can't believe we're like 6 weeks into the process and it just is so weird compared to my first prep. But I'll explain that once I've had my post-workout meal. Okay guys, it is now 7:30, wrapping up my day and wrapping up this video by telling you all about how this prep has been quite an odd one so far. So in 2021, when I did my prep for my bikini competition, we set out like 20 to 26 weeks between shows. So my first show was at 20 weeks into prep, then my final one was 6 weeks later. And that was like slow, steady, giving myself enough time. This prep, we've decided to do a much shorter and faster prep. However, my body at the first couple of weeks didn't really seem to like massively respond to the changes, like to the drop in food, to a little bit of a bump up in cardio. Like genuinely, I visually couldn't see any differences, and it kind of looked like scale weight was just holding consistently as well. So then we upped cardio to like 30 minutes a day, and there was just a slight tweak to nutrition, which was brought down, and still like 2 weeks later, there has been no change to scale weight. There was like a slight dip, as in like a pound, but then it came back up. Possibly came back up due to the fact that I have been on my menstrual cycle for the last week, but still like really weird, even though over the last couple of weeks I started to tighten up a little bit. So initially it was like 20 minutes of cardio 3 times per week, 20 minutes of cardio 4 times per week, then we upped it to 30 minutes of cardio 7 times per week, then we upped it to 40 minutes of cardio 7 times per week. Naturally, the changes that we made most recently haven't had time to kick in, but my body has just been like, I ain't dropping weight, which I think is something that I could have got concerned about, but actually in the last couple of weeks I can visually see that I've got leaner. So you can see between like the pictures that I'll pop up now of where I was at the start of prep, like in my front relaxed position, start of prep compared to now, or like the check-in photos I took yesterday. Same with my side poses, same with my back poses. Like I am looking leaner and tightening up, but things still, for some reason, aren't moving on the scales, and the scales will ultimately move, especially now that we're heading into like 5 weeks into prep, which can be a little bit concerning, but also there's lots of different factors to come into play here. Like, as I was kind of thinking, like, I haven't actually been this consistent with training for months and months and months. So in December, I had my breast augmentation tummy tuck surgery, and I was out of training for like 8 weeks, like properly training. And then also it was really difficult the past few months with travel, to like look after my dad. He passed away, like going back to the UK. I haven't actually been consistently training probably since like November, and it's now May. So like the last 6 months, like only the last month, 6 weeks have I been really consistently training. So my body's going to be responding to that, possibly even putting on a little bit more muscle tissue again after I wouldn't have been able to have maintained it. So it is a weird one, but I'm not going to get in my head about it because I can see that pictures are looking better, and I've noticed my body started to adapt. Like over this last week, cardio, doing 40-45 minutes a day on the Stairmaster, it's actually feeling pretty easy, which goes to show that my body's getting used to doing that amount of cardiovascular activity. Training still feels really good, even though Soph made quite a dramatic pull to my calories a day or two ago. So I think it's like 300 calories less per day on rest days, and then like 100 calories less on training days.
So because I'm on a meal plan, I don't know exactly where my calories are at, but I can guesstimate that we're probably around 1500, if not sub 1500, which is kind of where I know like my body starts like doing some work. So yeah, I'll be honest and say it's definitely been a weird one to try and get my head into this prep, because I haven't had those like quick wins like I did last time round. But I'm okay with that because I trust in the process, I trust my coach, and ultimately I'm ready to do what's required of me. It is strange though, because technically like now I'm doing more cardio and more steps. I'm hitting like 17,000 steps per day. I'm doing way more than I was at this many weeks out when it came to like my last prep, but also I'm in a much better body composition, and likely due to that, having less body fat, I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder to get even leaner. So yeah, it's really interesting. Like no prep is the same. I've heard a lot of people say that, but I'm really starting to experience that this time round. I'm really grateful that I'm like loving the process, and the process is actually something that I'm massively enjoying, no matter how pushed for time I might be. It's definitely allowed me to get my mojo back in loads of different aspects of life. So yeah, things are going well, things are ticking over, but I just think that the grind is gonna hit in the next couple of weeks with the recent changes that we've made to, you know, basically big chunk of cardio each day, big chunk of food has been dropped off. So that is that. Hopefully training performance still manages to stay okay. The one thing that I did want to mention just before I say goodbye to you guys is if you are interested in either bodybuilding, photo shoot, prep, or just getting into some amazing shape and focusing on muscle growth or fat loss, we do have coaching spaces available and opening for June. So if you are interested, just follow the link below and hit the application form button. I will leave you here, guys. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Much love.